Marcus Williams never imagined that a simple school pickup would change 4 lives forever. When armed men threatened to silence a blind girl and her grandmother, this struggling single father had one choice: take a bullet to save them all. What the little girl whispered afterward broke his heart completely. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Marcus Williams sat in his old pickup truck outside Lincoln Elementary School, watching the rain streak down his windshield. His calloused hands gripped the steering wheel as he waited for his 8-year-old daughter Emma to come out. The engine made that familiar rattling sound that reminded him he couldn't afford the repairs it needed. 3 years had passed since Sarah died in that car accident. 3 years of being both mother and father to Emma. 3 years of working double shifts at the construction site just to keep their small apartment. 3 years of pretending everything was okay when his world had completely fallen apart. Marcus checked his phone. Another missed call from the landlord. Rent was due yesterday and he was still $200 short. His supervisor had promised him overtime this week, but the weather had canceled most of the outdoor projects. Bills were piling up like autumn leaves and winter was coming fast. The school bell rang and children began pouring out of the building. Marcus spotted Emma immediately. She was walking slowly, holding onto another girl's arm. The other girl had a white cane and wore dark sunglasses despite the cloudy day. Emma waved when she saw the truck. She said something to her friend, who smiled and nodded. Marcus had noticed this friendship growing over the past few months. Emma often talked about Lucy, the new girl in her class who couldn't see but could tell the most amazing stories. "Dad." Emma climbed into the passenger seat, shaking raindrops from her brown hair that looked so much like her mother's. "Lucy's grandmother isn't here yet. Can we wait with her?" Marcus looked at the girl standing alone under the school's covered entrance. Something about her reminded him of Emma when she was scared. "Of course, sweetheart. Bring her over here where it's dry." Emma ran back and gently guided Lucy to the truck. The blind girl was maybe 9 years old, with blonde hair and 2 neat braids. She wore a school uniform that had seen better days, and her shoes had holes that let the rain seep through. "Thank you, Mr. Williams," Lucy said politely as she slid into the truck. Her voice carried a maturity that seemed too old for her age. "Grandmother Rosa usually picks me up, but sometimes she gets confused about the time." Marcus's heart ached. He recognized that careful way of explaining difficult situations. Emma did the same thing when she didn't want people to worry about their problems. "It's no trouble at all," Marcus replied. "Emma talks about you all the time. She says you're the best storyteller in 3rd grade. Lucy smiled and her whole face lit up. "Stories help when things get scary. They take you to places where everything turns out okay." They waited for 20 minutes before an elderly woman hurried toward the school. She was small and bent, using a walker to navigate the wet sidewalk. Her face showed the confusion that Lucy had carefully not mentioned. "I'm so sorry," the woman said in accented English when she reached the truck. "I forgot what time. The clocks are so confusing." Marcus gently helped her to the passenger side. "No problem at all, Mrs. Rosa Valdez. Lucy is my granddaughter. Her parents, they died 2 years ago. Car accident. Now it's just us." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. He looked at Lucy, who sat quietly in the back seat, her small hand holding Emma's. Both girls had lost so much, yet here they were, taking care of each other. "I understand," Marcus said quietly. "I lost my wife 3 years ago. It's just Emma and me now." Rosa's eyes filled with tears. "The rent? It goes up next month. I don't know how we'll manage. My social security check barely covers food." Marcus felt something twist in his chest. Here was another family hanging by a thread just like his own. He thought about the $200 he didn't have for rent, about Emma's shoes that pinched her feet, about the empty refrigerator at home. "Listen," he said, making a decision that probably wasn't smart but felt right. "I work construction. If you need any repairs around your place, I can help out. No charge." "Oh, we couldn't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering. These girls are friends. That makes us family." Over the next few weeks, Marcus found himself stopping by Rosa and Lucy's apartment regularly. The building was in worse shape than his own, with broken windows covered by cardboard and stairs that creaked dangerously under weight. He fixed their leaky faucet, patched holes in the walls, and weatherproofed their windows before winter arrived. Rosa insisted on cooking for him and Emma in return, and soon their simple meals became the highlight of everyone's day. Lucy and Emma were inseparable. Emma would describe everything she saw in vivid detail, while Lucy would spin tales that made ordinary moments feel magical. Watching them together reminded Marcus that even in the darkest times, light could still find a way in. "Dad," Emma said one evening as they walked home from Rosa's apartment, "why do bad things happen to good people?" The question caught Marcus off guard. Emma was asking the same thing he'd wondered every night since Sarah died. "I don't know, sweetheart. I wish I did. Lucy says maybe we go through hard times so we can help other people when they go through hard times too." Marcus looked down at his daughter, amazed by her wisdom. "Lucy's pretty smart." "Yeah, she is, Dad." "What? Are we poor?" Marcus stopped walking. This was the conversation he'd been dreading. "Why do you ask?" "Some kids at school say we are. They say that's why my shoes have tape on them and why you pack peanut butter sandwiches for lunch every day." Marcus knelt down to Emma's level. The streetlight cast long shadows across the sidewalk. "Emma, having less money doesn't make us less important. What matters is that we love each other and we help people when we can. Look at how happy Rosa gets when we visit. Look at how much Lucy smiles when she's with you. That's worth more than money." Emma nodded solemnly. "I love Lucy. She's like the sister I always wanted." "I know, baby. I love her too." December arrived with a vengeance. The heating system in Marcus and Emma's apartment building broke down, and the landlord showed no interest in fixing it. They spent most evenings at Rosa's place where the heat still worked, though barely. Marcus's work hours were cut as construction projects shut down for winter. The unemployment check wasn't enough to cover rent, food, and Emma's needs. He started selling his tools one by one to keep them afloat. Rosa wasn't doing any better. Her social security check was delayed, and the apartment manager had posted an eviction notice on her door. Lucy pretended not to understand what it meant, but Marcus could see the worry in the way she held her grandmother's hand. "We'll figure something out," Marcus told Rosa one cold Tuesday evening as they shared a dinner of rice and beans. "Maybe I can talk to the manager, work out a payment plan." "He's not a good man," Rosa whispered, glancing toward Lucy, who was helping Emma with homework at the kitchen table. "He says things, makes threats. I'm scared." Marcus felt anger flare in his chest. "What kind of threats?" "He says if I can't pay, maybe Lucy could work to earn the rent money." "The way he looks at her." Rosa shuddered. The anger in Marcus's chest turned to ice-cold fury. "Pack some things. You and Lucy are staying with us tonight. But your lease." "I don't care about the lease. Nobody threatens children. Not on my watch." That night, Marcus lay awake on the couch while Rosa and Lucy shared Emma's bed. His mind raced through possibilities, none of them good. They couldn't afford 2 apartments. They couldn't keep hiding from their problems. But he'd be damned if he'd let anything happen to Lucy. Around 3 a.m., he heard quiet sobbing from the bedroom. He found Lucy sitting by the window, tears streaming down her face. "Hey," he said softly, sitting beside her. "What's wrong?" "I heard Grandmother Rosa talking to you. About Mr. Peterson. About the things he said." Lucy's voice was barely a whisper. "It's my fault. If I could see, I could get a job. I could help pay the rent." Marcus felt his heart break. "Lucy, listen to me. None of this is your fault. You're 9 years old. Your job is to be a kid, not to worry about rent. But Emma told me her mom is in heaven, and that's why you have to work so hard. My parents are in heaven too. Maybe if I went to heaven, Grandmother Rosa wouldn't have to worry about taking care of me." The words hit Marcus like a sledgehammer. He pulled Lucy into his arms, this brave little girl who was carrying burdens no child should bear. "Don't you ever say that again," he whispered fiercely. "Emma needs you. Rosa needs you. I need you. You're part of our family now, and families don't give up on each other. Promise?" "I promise." "Whatever happens, we'll face it together." The next morning brought news that changed everything. Marcus's foreman called with good news and bad news. The good news was a big construction project starting immediately, with enough overtime to solve their money problems. The bad news was that it was in another state and would last 6 months. Marcus stared at the phone after hanging up. 6 months of steady work would pay off all their debts and set them up for a fresh start. But it meant leaving Emma and now Rosa and Lucy when they needed him most. "I can't go," he told Emma as they walked to school that morning. "I won't leave you." "Dad, this is the answer to our prayers," Emma said with that adult wisdom that amazed him. "Grandmother Rosa can watch me and I can help take care of Lucy. We'll be okay." "Emma? Mom would want you to take the job. She'd want us to be smart about this." Marcus knew she was right, but the thought of leaving made his stomach twist. Still, the money would solve everyone's problems. He could send enough home to cover both apartments and still have money left over for emergencies. They were discussing details when they saw the commotion at Rosa's apartment building. Police cars were parked outside and people were standing around talking in hushed voices. Marcus's blood ran cold. He grabbed Emma's hand and ran toward the building. Officer Janet Murphy, who knew Marcus from his volunteer work at the community center, met them at the entrance. "Marcus, I was about to call you. There's been an incident." "Where are Rosa and Lucy?" "They're okay, but they're shaken up. Rosa's apartment manager, Peterson, was found dead this morning. Shot execution style in his office." Marcus felt the world tilt. "What happened?" "We're still investigating. Neighbors heard shouting around midnight, then gunshots. The building's been sold to some questionable people. Word is they're planning to clear out all the old tenants and renovate." "What does that mean for Rosa and Lucy?" Officer Murphy's expression was grim. "Everyone in the building has 48 hours to vacate. The new owners don't want to honor existing leases." Marcus found Rosa and Lucy in the community room, surrounded by other displaced tenants. Rosa looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight. Lucy sat beside her, holding her grandmother's shaking hand. "Mr. Marcus." Lucy jumped up when she heard his voice. She ran to him and he caught her in his arms. "It's okay, sweetheart. We'll figure this out." "They came to our door last night," Rosa said quietly. "3 men. They said we had to leave immediately or there would be consequences. I told them we needed time to find somewhere to go. They laughed and said time was up." Marcus felt that familiar cold anger settling in his chest. "Did you see their faces?" "One of them had a tattoo on his neck. A snake. He was the one doing the talking. He said if we weren't gone by tonight, they'd make sure we regretted it." Emma appeared at Marcus's elbow. "Dad, Lucy and grandmother Rosa can stay with us permanently. I already cleared out half my closet." The simple generosity of his daughter's offer brought tears to Marcus's eyes. Here was a 8-year-old girl offering to share her small space with people who needed help. This was what Sarah had taught her. This was what mattered. "Of course they can," Marcus said. "We're family." But even as he said it, Marcus knew they were all in danger. People who executed building managers and threatened old women and blind children wouldn't hesitate to hurt anyone who got in their way. That afternoon, Marcus made the hardest decision of his life. He called his foreman and accepted the out-of-state job, but with a condition. He would start in 2 weeks, giving him time to get Rosa and Lucy settled somewhere safe. He also called his brother Jake, who lived 3 states away. Jake had been asking Marcus to move closer ever since Sarah died. Now it seemed like the perfect solution. "Pack everything you can carry," Marcus told Rosa and Lucy that evening. "We're leaving town." "But what about Emma's school? What about your work?" Rosa protested. "There are schools everywhere. There's work everywhere. But there's only one Lucy and only one Rosa and only one Emma. Keeping you all safe is more important than anything else." They worked through the night, packing their few belongings into Marcus's truck and the small trailer he'd borrowed from a friend. By dawn they were ready to go. That's when the 3 men showed up. Marcus was loading the last box when he saw them approaching. The leader had the snake tattoo Rosa had described. He was tall and thin, with cold eyes and hands that never stopped moving. The other 2 looked like muscle, thick and mean. "Going somewhere?" Snake Tattoo asked with a smile that never reached his eyes. "Just helping some friends move," Marcus replied calmly, positioning himself between the men and the truck where Emma, Rosa, and Lucy were waiting. "See, that's a problem. Our arrangement was with all the tenants in that building. They were supposed to disappear quietly. No fuss, no police reports, no questions asked. But your friends here made a big scene yesterday. Got people talking. They're gone now. Problem solved." Snake Tattoo shook his head. "Not that simple. People who make trouble for us need to learn lessons. Otherwise, other people get ideas." Marcus felt his muscles tense. In the truck behind him, he could hear Emma whispering to Lucy, probably trying to distract her from what was happening. He couldn't let these men hurt his family. "How much?" Marcus asked. "What?" "How much to make this problem go away? Everyone has a price." Snake Tattoo laughed. "You think this is about money? This is about respect. This is about making sure people know what happens when they don't follow instructions." One of the muscle guys stepped forward. "Boss, maybe we should just handle this quietly. No witnesses." Marcus's heart hammered against his ribs. These men weren't just threatening Rosa and Lucy anymore. They were threatening everyone he loved. "Listen," Marcus said, fighting to keep his voice steady. "These are good people. An old woman and a blind child. They're not a threat to anyone." "The old woman called the police," Snake Tattoo replied. The blind kid can identify voices. They're both threats. Lucy's 9 years old. Old enough to testify in court. That's when Marcus realized these men weren't just evicting tenants. They were eliminating witnesses to Peterson's murder. Rosa and Lucy had seen too much, heard too much, and now they all had to die. Marcus glanced back at the truck. Through the rear window he could see Emma's face. She was scared but trying to be brave, just like her mother would have been. Just like she'd been every day since they'd become a family of 2. Now they were a family of 4, and Marcus would die before he let anything happen to any of them. "Okay," he said, raising his hands. "You're right. Let's talk this through. But can we do it away from the truck? Kids don't need to hear this kind of conversation." Snake Tattoo considered this. "Smart. Walk over here." Marcus took a few steps away from the truck, creating distance between the men and his family. He was buying time, trying to think of a plan, when he heard car doors slamming. More men had arrived. This wasn't just a threat anymore. This was an execution squad. "Dad." Emma's voice came through the truck's open window. "It's okay, baby. Just stay put." But it wasn't okay. Marcus counted 6 men now, all armed, all looking like they'd done this before. Even if he could take down 1 or 2, the others would kill his family. That's when he heard the siren. Officer Janet Murphy's patrol car rounded the corner at exactly the wrong moment. She was probably just doing her regular rounds, checking on the neighborhood after yesterday's murder. But her arrival changed everything. "Shit," Snake Tattoo hissed. "This was supposed to be clean." The patrol car stopped and Officer Murphy got out. She took one look at the situation and immediately reached for her radio. "Don't," Snake Tattoo called out, pulling a gun from his jacket. "Hands where I can see them." Officer Murphy froze. She was a good cop, but she was also outnumbered 6 to 1. Marcus could see her calculating odds, looking for advantages, trying to figure out how to protect the civilians. "Let the children go," she called out. "This is between adults." "No witnesses," Snake Tattoo replied. "That's the rule." Marcus realized that Officer Murphy's arrival had actually made things worse. Now these men had to kill a police officer too. They were past the point of no return. In the truck, Emma was whispering urgently to Rosa and Lucy. Marcus caught fragments of their conversation. "When I say run. The school is 4 blocks. Call 911. His 8-year-old daughter was planning an escape route for the family. She was being the adult because the adults weren't able to protect her. Something shifted in Marcus's chest. A cold, clear certainty settled over him. These men were going to kill everyone anyway. His family's only chance was if he created enough chaos and confusion to give them time to escape. He thought about Sarah, about the promises he'd made to her in the hospital. He'd promised to keep Emma safe. He'd promised to be both mother and father to her. He'd promised to teach her right from wrong, to show her how to be brave when things got scary. This was that moment. This was where he proved what kind of man he was. Marcus caught Emma's eye through the truck window and mouthed the words, "I love you." Then he looked at Lucy, this brave little girl who'd become his second daughter, and Rosa, who'd become the grandmother Emma needed. He made his choice. "You want to know what respect looks like?" Marcus called out to Snake Tattoo. "Respect looks like a man protecting his family." Before anyone could react, Marcus launched himself at the nearest gunman. He tackled the man hard, driving him to the ground, wrestling for the gun. Shots rang out, loud and sharp in the morning air. "Run!" Marcus screamed toward the truck. "Emma, take Lucy and run." More gunshots. Marcus felt something hot punch through his shoulder, spinning him around. He kept fighting, knowing that every second he kept these men focused on him was another second his family had to escape. Through the chaos, he heard the truck doors slamming, heard Emma shouting, "This way. Hold my hand." Officer Murphy was shooting now too, taking cover behind her patrol car. But there were too many of them and they had better positions. Marcus struggled to his feet, bleeding from his shoulder. He saw Emma leading Lucy and Rosa toward the school, moving as fast as Lucy could manage. They were 100 yards away. Then 200. Snake Tattoo turned his gun toward the fleeing family. "No." Marcus threw himself forward again, crashing into Snake Tattoo just as the gun fired. The bullet went wide, chipping concrete instead of flesh. This time Marcus felt the return shot hit him center mass. The impact drove him backward and suddenly the ground was coming up fast. He hit hard, tasting blood. Snake Tattoo stood over him, pointing the gun at his head. "Should have minded your own business." Marcus looked past the gun barrel toward his family. They'd made it to the school. Emma was pounding on the doors, getting the security guards' attention. They were safe. "They were my business," Marcus said through bloody teeth. That's what family means. Snake Tattoo's finger tightened on the trigger. More sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Officer Murphy had gotten her distress call through. Backup was coming. Time to go, one of the other men called out. Snake Tattoo looked toward the approaching sirens, then back down at Marcus. Next time, stay out of things that don't concern you. There won't be a next time, Marcus whispered, blood bubbling from his lips. You missed your chance. The men ran for their cars as police sirens grew louder. Marcus lay on the cold pavement, watching them disappear around the corner. He'd done it. His family was safe. Officer Murphy reached him first, pressing something against the wound in his chest to slow the bleeding. Ambulance is coming. Stay with me, Marcus. Marcus turned his head toward the school. Through the glass doors, he could see Emma holding Lucy's hand while Rosa spoke to the security guard. Emma was crying but she was alive. Lucy was scared but she was safe. Rosa was shaking but she was breathing. Did good, Marcus whispered. Yeah, you did, Officer Murphy agreed, her voice tight with emotion. You saved them all. Marcus closed his eyes, listening to his family's voices carry across the morning air. Emma was telling Lucy that everything was going to be okay, that the police were here, that they were safe now. She sounded so much like her mother. Marcus woke up 3 days later in a hospital bed, surrounded by machines that beeped and hummed. His chest felt like someone had parked a truck on it, and his shoulder was wrapped in enough bandages to outfit a small army. The first face he saw was Emma's. She was asleep in a chair beside his bed, holding Lucy's hand. Lucy was awake, her sightless eyes turned toward the sound of his breathing. Mr. Marcus? Lucy whispered. Are you okay? Yes, sweetheart. I'm okay. His voice came out like sandpaper, but it was his voice. Are you hurt? Is everyone safe? We're fine. Emma saved us. She knew exactly what to do. Marcus looked at his daughter, still asleep in the uncomfortable hospital chair. There were dark circles under her eyes and her hair was messy. She'd probably been here for 3 straight days refusing to leave. Where's Rosa? She's getting coffee. The nurses said you were going to wake up today, so she went to tell the cafeteria lady that her prayers worked. Marcus tried to smile but his face felt stiff. The men who hurt us? Gone. The police are looking for them but they disappeared. Officer Murphy says you're a hero. Before Marcus could respond, Emma stirred and opened her eyes. When she saw her father awake, her face crumpled with relief. Dad. I was so scared. There was so much blood and you wouldn't wake up, and the doctors kept saying things I didn't understand. Marcus tried to sit up but pain shot through his chest. Emma carefully climbed onto the bed beside him, being careful not to jostle the tubes and wires. I'm sorry I scared you, baby. You saved us. You kept fighting even when you were hurt. Just like Mom would have. The comparison to Sarah hit Marcus harder than any bullet. Emma was right. Sarah would have done exactly what he did. She would have put their family's safety above everything else, including her own life. Are we still going to move? Emma asked. To Uncle Jake's house? Marcus had forgotten about the plan to relocate. With the immediate threat gone, maybe they could stay. But looking at Emma's hopeful face, he realized she wanted to go. She wanted a fresh start somewhere safe, somewhere the bad memories couldn't follow. If you want to. It's up to you. I think we should. But all of us. Rosa and Lucy too. Like a real family. Before Marcus could answer, Rosa appeared in the doorway carrying a coffee tray. When she saw Marcus awake, she started crying happy tears. Mijo, we thought we lost you. Rosa set down the coffee and came to his bedside. She looked older, more fragile than before, but there was something new in her eyes. A kind of fierce protection that reminded Marcus of a mother bear defending her cubs. The police want to talk to you, she said. But I told them you need to rest first. That Officer Murphy, she's a good woman. She says what you did was the bravest thing she's ever seen. Over the next hour, Marcus heard the full story. Emma had led Lucy and Rosa to safety exactly as he'd hoped. The school security guard had called 911, and additional units had arrived within minutes. The gunman had escaped, but not before several witnesses got descriptions and license plate numbers. More importantly, the investigation into Peterson's murder had blown wide open. The new building owners were connected to a larger criminal organization that had been using property investments to launder money. Peterson's death was part of a cleanup operation to eliminate potential witnesses. They'll find them, Officer Murphy assured Marcus when she stopped by later that day. We've got federal agencies involved now. These guys picked the wrong people to threaten. Marcus nodded, but he wasn't really thinking about justice anymore. He was thinking about the future, about the family he'd almost lost, about the choices that had led them all to this moment. "Officer Murphy," he said quietly, "if you hadn't shown up when you did. But I did. That's what matters. And Marcus? What you did out there, throwing yourself at armed men to protect your family. That's the kind of courage most people only read about in books." After she left, Marcus lay in his hospital bed surrounded by the three people who mattered most to him. Emma had fallen asleep against his good shoulder. Lucy was curled up in the chair, listening to Rosa read quietly from a children's book. It was a strange kind of peace, there in the hospital room with machines monitoring every heartbeat. For the first time in years, Marcus felt like they were going to be okay. Not just surviving but actually okay. Marcus spent 2 weeks in the hospital. The bullet had missed his heart by inches but had done significant damage to his lung and shoulder. The doctors said he'd been incredibly lucky. Marcus figured luck had nothing to do with it. He'd had something worth living for. Emma, Lucy, and Rosa visited every day. Emma brought him drawings she'd made of their planned new life at Uncle Jake's house. Lucy brought him stories, tales of brave knights and wise princesses that she spun from her imagination. Rosa brought him homemade soup in containers the nurses pretended not to notice. The hospital's social worker, Mrs. Chin, became a regular visitor too. She was helping arrange the legal paperwork to make Rosa and Lucy part of their family officially. The process was complicated, but Mrs. Chin had seen enough families torn apart by bureaucracy. She was determined not to let it happen to theirs. "Foster placement initially," she explained to Marcus one afternoon. "Rosa as Lucy's legal guardian, you and Emma as their sponsor family. After 6 months, if everyone agrees, we can pursue formal adoption proceedings." Marcus looked at Lucy, who was helping Emma color in a picture book. "What does Lucy think about all this?" Mrs. Chin smiled. "Lucy says she's never had a real father before. She'd like to try it and see how it works out." The comment hit Marcus right in the chest. He thought about his own father, who'd been distant and critical. He thought about the kind of father he wanted to be, the kind Sarah would have wanted him to be. "I'd like to try it too," he said quietly. On Marcus's last day in the hospital, Officer Murphy brought news about the investigation. Federal agents had tracked down Snake Tattoo and his crew. They'd been arrested in another state while trying to eliminate witnesses in a similar case. "They're going away for a long time," she told Marcus. "Racketeering, murder, witness intimidation. The prosecutor says it's one of the strongest cases she's ever seen." Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders. His family could move forward without looking over their shoulders, without fearing every stranger who approached them. "There's something else," Officer Murphy continued. "The story about what you did has gotten attention. Local newspapers, television stations. There's been an outpouring of support from the community." Marcus frowned. He didn't want attention. He just wanted his family to be safe and happy. "I know you're not comfortable with publicity," Officer Murphy said quickly. "But people want to help. There's been a fundraising campaign. Medical bills, moving expenses, money for Emma and Lucy's education. The community wants to take care of you the way you took care of your family." Emma appeared in the hospital room doorway, carrying a stack of cards and letters. "Dad, look at all the mail we got. People from all over the country are writing to us." She climbed onto the bed and started showing him the letters. Children from other schools had drawn pictures. Adults had written notes thanking him for his courage. Strangers had sent money and gift cards and offers of help. "Look at this one," Emma said, holding up a letter written in careful handwriting. "It's from a little girl in California. She says her daddy died protecting people too and she knows how proud I must be." Marcus felt tears sting his eyes. He thought about all the other families like theirs, people who'd lost someone while protecting others, children who'd grown up understanding that sometimes being brave meant risking everything. Lucy reached over and took his hand. "Mr. Marcus, Emma read me all the letters. People think you're a hero." "I'm not a hero, Lucy. I'm just a dad who loves his family." "Maybe that's what heroes are," Lucy replied with the wisdom that never stopped surprising him. "Just people who love someone enough to be brave." Jake Williams met them at the bus station in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Marcus's brother was 3 years older and had always been the responsible one, the one who'd gone to college and started a business and bought a house with a white picket fence. But when he saw Marcus step off the bus, still moving carefully because of his healing wounds, Jake's eyes filled with tears. "You crazy bastard," Jake said, pulling Marcus into a careful hug. "When I heard what happened, I couldn't sleep for a week." "Language," Marcus said automatically, nodding toward Emma and Lucy. Jake laughed. "Right. Sorry. You crazy hero." Emma giggled. Lucy smiled at the sound of family members teasing each other with love behind the words. Rosa watched the reunion with the satisfaction of someone who'd helped make it possible. Jake's house was everything Marcus had hoped for. 4 bedrooms, a big backyard, neighbors who brought casseroles and introduced themselves with genuine warmth. The local school had already prepared spaces for Emma and Lucy, with special accommodations for Lucy's needs. The principal used to be a special education teacher, Jake explained as he showed them around. When she heard about Lucy, she personally reviewed all the resources they have for visually impaired students. They're excited to have her. That first night in their new home, Marcus lay in a real bed for the first time in weeks. Through the thin walls, he could hear Emma and Lucy whispering in the room they'd chosen to share. Rosa was in the guest room next door, probably saying prayers of gratitude for their safe arrival. Jake knocked softly on his door. "You awake?" "Yeah, come in." Jake sat on the edge of the bed looking serious. "I need to ask you something. Are you okay? Really okay? Because what you went through, that changes a person." Marcus considered the question. Was he okay? His body was healing, but there were moments when he heard unexpected noises and his heart started racing. There were nights when he woke up from dreams about gunshots and blood. "I think I will be," he said finally. "Having them safe makes everything else manageable." "Good. Because I've got something for you." Jake handed him an envelope. "Job offer. Construction foreman position with the company I supply materials to. Good pay, health insurance, room for advancement." Marcus opened the envelope and looked at the offer. The salary was more than he'd made in his best year back home. The benefits package would cover medical care for all 4 of them. "Jake, this is too much." "It's not charity. It's family." "And Marcus? The owner of the company heard your story. He's got 3 daughters of his own. He specifically asked me to find you a position." Marcus felt that familiar tightness in his throat. Everywhere they went, people wanted to help. The kindness of strangers was overwhelming. "There's more," Jake continued. "The story about what you did made national news. There's a foundation that helps families of people who've been injured protecting others. They want to set up education funds for Emma and Lucy. Full scholarships all the way through college." Marcus stared at his brother. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. These girls are going to have every opportunity in the world, Marcus. Emma can be whatever she wants to be. Lucy can too. All because you were brave enough to stand up when it mattered." Through the walls, Marcus could hear Lucy telling Emma one of her stories. This one was about a brave knight who fought dragons to protect a magical kingdom. The knight got hurt in the battle, but the kingdom was saved, and everyone lived happily ever after. "Dad," Emma called out softly. "Can you come here for a minute?" Marcus got up and went to their room. Emma and Lucy were sitting on Emma's bed, and Rosa had joined them. They looked like they'd been having a serious conversation. "What's up, girls?"